Hey friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new. My name is Kay. I'm a professional home organizer and today we are going to answer some spicy questions. Now I asked in the community tab to ask spicy questions. I didn't give spicy question categories about anything in particular, so we'll see what you asked in the comments and we'll just have a little chat. I've got my coffee here, grab some tea, grab some water, grab a muffin, whatever. We're gonna just catch up and answer some spicy questions. I just got an email from Pottery Barn Kids. Why? Oh my gosh. And the tripod is on the sofa and Clover just moved from one spot to the other. I'll give you a little Clover, shot if you'd like to see him. Oh my gosh, he's going up. He's having a time. This is when I like to call you Catalier, King Charles Spaniel, because what is this? What is this sleeping here? I mean, I know you're going for the sunshine, but like, wild man. Say hello to the audience. You went on a long walk this morning and now you're like super tired. Good, because you're a menace. Okay, there's 54 questions. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to answer all of these. I didn't expect there to be so many responses, but let's go. Let's go. What's the most embarrassing thing you've ever found while helping someone organize their space? I have never been embarrassed looking in people's spaces, but maybe other people have been embarrassed and I've found some things that might be embarrassing to have someone else find. I have found like things that were, I guess, I found like explicit material that was like on a spectrum of not mainstream explicit material, and listen, I'm not here to like kink shame. I'm like, whatever, like let's all love, let's all, have our own fun in like safe ways that don't hurt anyone. And it was like something kind of, different. And I think they were a little bit embarrassed, but I don't have any, I'm not embarrassed. At one point in my life, I don't talk about this. At one point in my life, I really wanted to be a sexologist because I find that kind of stuff really fascinating. Both my parents are doctors and I just find the whole psychology and human body really fascinating. And so I'm not embarrassed that when I find that stuff. I've also like found like, marital aids and things like that. I love when I see that because I'm like, oh my gosh, you're healthy. But like, I guess maybe that's the most like embarrassing thing I found. I don't think I've really found anything embarrassing. And maybe because I don't really consider those things embarrassing. Okay, I'll stop. Ooh, hold on. I got an interesting email. Hold on. All right, we'll see what happens with that. When you're having just one of those days and can't find the motivation to tidy or stick to the routine, do you usually go with the flow or do you have any tips to climb out of the funk? Been loving your uploads recently, inspiring me to take charge of my space and give it some love. Oh my gosh. Well, when I don't feel like it and something has to get done, I try to gamify the situation and try to give myself incentive by giving myself a reward afterward. Like if I like clean the kitchen up, I get to play 30 minutes of Animal Crossing. That's basically how I'm like, hey, if I need some kind of prize at the end, that's how I motivate myself. The other thing is to put on some good jams. If you put on good jams, you'll suddenly you're like, okay, I can do this. Have you ever arrived at a space that was too disgusting to organize? If so, did you make your retreat? I have not. I always ask potential clients for photos of their space and a little video of their space before I go there. I don't see a lot of clients in person anymore, but I used to do this just to get the lay of the land. And if it was too much for me or if they needed the help of one of my colleagues who specialized in hoarding disorder or something like that, I would pass them on there. So no, I am always prepared going in. Not spicy, but every time I see you eat, I want some too. Do you follow a specific diet or do you have general rules which guide your meals? Any food you absolutely love, any you avoid? Do you and your husband like similar food or do you cook separate meals? There's a lot of questions. So even I both eat a pretty balanced diet. Sometimes he's more prone to wanting a little more treats than I do. He's got the sweet tooth. I don't have a sweet tooth at all. I'd much prefer having salty items, but we do eat sort of a flexitarian diet. And over the past I think 5 or 6 years, we've been trying to eat less processed foods and eat more whole foods. Not to say that that doesn't happen from time to time. Like every now and again, we're like, dude, I want McDonald's breakfast, like bring on the hash browns. But most nights we try to eat a little healthier. Over the past few weeks, we've been trying to eat even more healthy for the new year, trying to break some old habits. Over the pandemic, we like ate all of our feelings, we drank all of our feelings, and so we have some consequences of those actions. And so we're trying to sort of get it back together. We're starting to exercise more. And do you see this? Do you? But we've been really, really loving making a lot of our own food because we know if we're gonna have junk food, we want to make our own junk food so we know what's in it. We love seafood and we love any kind of like Mexican influenced like Tex-Mex food. Like I could eat Tex-Mex food every single day of the week. You don't even have to ask me like, do you want tacos? Yes. Do you want tostadas? Yes. Do you want enchiladas? Yes. So we really like to eat Tex-Mex like probably like 3 nights out of the week. We probably should live in Arizona or something, or New Mexico, but we don't. We live in Boston. And usually we do eat the same food. If one night Eve really wants something and I'm like, you know what, you're on your own, we do make separate meals, but that's really rare. But yeah, that's our diet. We try to eat a lot of whole foods. What type of books do you like to read? Do you grow up in a church going home? How is your mom, and do you visit each other often? Okay, this is a lot of questions. So the first question, what type of books do you like to read? I like to read nonfiction where we basically get information, or I like stories that are a little bit intense. Like my favorite book that I read recently, and this probably wasn't recently, but was a really amazing book, was called Middlesex. It was like one of those Pulitzer Prize winning books. The book is really old, but it's a fantastic book. I could not put it down. I was like, it's such good writing. Another really amazing book that no one talks about it anymore. It's called On Love. It was by Alain de Botton. I think that's how you say his name. I'm not really sure, but I love Alain de Botton. He wrote a lot of really interesting books on romance, but also mixed in with philosophy. Those are my kind of books. Did you grow up in a church going home? Kind of. Sort of. My parents both went to different churches. My mother was Baptist, my father was Episcopalian. They let me sort of choose which one I wanted to go with when I was old enough to choose. And I was baptized at age 7 because I had made a choice. And I remember it was in Germany somewhere. I don't even remember where I was baptized. And we went to church on major holidays, but not weekly. And my parents were sort of they're very open with me. They were like, we can learn about all these different things. And they kind of let me choose whether or not I wanted to go. How's your mom? Do you visit her often? She is good. I don't visit as much as I would like because of the COVID. But we have been visiting pretty frequently up until my dad died. And we were supposed to go visit a few weeks ago, but we had the whole thing with Clover, and she was like, do not come with a sick dog. So we had to stay and deal with all of his tests and medications and stuff like that. But as soon as he is back to sort of a baseline normal, we're definitely going to jump in the car and go. I admire your sweet and charismatic personality that draws people to you. Well, thank you. Do you have a spicy story as a child or as an adult that when someone underestimated your sweetness and told them off or surprised them? I don't think so. I think that when I'm in front of camera, I am very similar to the way that I am in person when I'm in front of camera. But when I am also with people, I tend to, and I get this honestly, my mother, I get this from my mom. I get this do not do not mess with kind of. I'm very straightforward when I talk with people. You can be kind, you can be empathetic, you can be understanding, you can be friendly, but I am very straightforward with people. Like if I'm talking with you, you know where I stand in terms of like how I feel about various things. And so I don't think I've ever surprised anyone with any of my responses. And typically my responses tend to be very diplomatic. Actually, unlike my mom, my father was a very diplomatic person and will tell you something and you may think it was your idea, but it really wasn't. I think that the years of working retail has hardened me just a little bit You know, I mean, there's times when I was just like, could not help someone. And they were in my face like, but there's nothing I can do. I do think though, when I was teaching children to write their own songs, I was in an outreach program that taught children how to write their own songs. It was really fun. It's called Classroom Cantatas. I don't do it anymore. But I always do think the children were surprised though, if they were misbehaving, if my tone changed during the class, because I have a lot of patience, but at some point, if like I could not get work done, I definitely made sure that we were going to get back on track. And I think they were surprised then, but I think that's the only time I think. What is your sleep schedule? How do you find the energy to do what you do? How much coffee do you drink? So I get up pretty early. I get up around 5:30 to 6 o'clock every morning, and I go to bed around 9:30, 10. So I don't usually nap during the day, although that could be really helpful. I drink like 2 cups of coffee a day, sometimes 3. But how do I find the energy? And the truth is, sometimes I don't always have the energy to do what I need to do. So sometimes I just sit around and stare at the wall and go. Sometimes I find the motivation from kind of a morbid place. I don't know if I've talked about this a lot, but I always have had a sense of my own mortality ever since I was a wee child. Like my father, if he was alive, he would tell you this. I was very anxious. I was always thinking about like, oh, what if something happened? Like, what if a plane flew into the house or whatever? Like, what if? And I kind of always was like, I need to live like I'm running out of time. And so I think I find the motivation from that. I kind of, I took that anxiety and turned it into, I don't want to have any regrets at the end of my life. So I want to make sure that I embrace every day, that I, appreciate the days when I'm feeling good, and that, yeah, I can do like a little more. And maybe I could probably take more days of rest, but until then, I'm still having fun. Hi, what happened to your color block large dresser? I love that piece. Oh, we gave it away because it did not fit down the stairs when we tried to move it in. And we didn't really have any plans for it either, so we just let it go. It was not necessary for our lives anymore either, so it's gone. But I loved it. It was cute. It was the patchwork armoire. Rest in peace. How do you know when to repot a plant? If a plant seems to be suffering a little bit, like even if you're watering it, it still is kind of wilty, the leaves are dying. The best thing you can do pretty much is lift it out of lift it out of the pot very gently. You can do this without really harming the plant at all. They don't really care. And if all you see is like roots, then you definitely want to repot it. And sometimes the roots will creep out the bottom as well if the bottom has holes. That's usually a good indication that they could use a little more room. Not always, but a lot of the time. But mostly I repot if it looks like the plant is suffering and needs a little bit more space. What kind of work does Eve do? He works in tech. I think that's as specific as he'd want me to say. He does work in tech and he loves it. And yeah. What are your favorite things about living in Massachusetts? What has been the most challenging? Favorite thing about living in Massachusetts? The architecture. I love the architecture here. Is so beautiful. We were going on our walk this morning, Clover and I, in about 45 minutes, and you can see beautiful Victorian houses everywhere. Some of them are really beautifully maintained. They have these little plaques on the outside and I just kind of love the historic aspect of New England. I think it's just really beautiful. It feels nice, and I love Boston, and the fall here is so beautiful. I just love it. And the early music scene, I think, is probably the best thing about living in Massachusetts. It's it is very, very, very serious when it comes to early music. Bach, Handel, Haydn, Mozart, all that stuff. All the stuff I love to sing is all the stuff you get paid to sing here, and audiences love it here. So that's my favorite. Those are my favorite things about living in Mass. My least favorite thing is probably everyone's least favorite thing about living in Mass, and that is winter. Winter is absolutely abysmal here. And it's not December right now when I'm filming this. It's not that bad. When it gets to be January and February and March, those tend to be the most depressing months of the year. Because when we get a lot of snow, it kind of stays and then it starts to get really dirty because we have that city snow where there's people walking on it, cars and blech, and buses go, and it's just depressing and disgusting. And when it gets to be March, you think you're like, oh, it's springtime. And a lot of the times there's like a blizzard or something. So the worst part is winter. A lot of us complain about it and then forget about it as soon as it's warm weather. It's like, everyone complains that they want to move in February and January. And then once it's June, everyone's fine. And we're ready to like, woo! I love the accents too, personally. I think I have a non-regional accent because I've lived in a lot of different places, but I love the Boston accent. It is so adorable. Has there been an organizing solution a client used that worked for them, but you thought was impractical / crazy? I mean, I feel like a couple of times. I had one client who had so many tea towels. Like they had them for like every holiday. They were like, we have to roll them all and put them in this triangle shaped closet. And I love this person, but I was like, do we need to keep this many tea towels? We organized them and it worked. We had all kinds of like little dividers going with it, and I was like, can we declutter? She's like, no. She was a very like holiday centric person, and I get that. I'm not one of those people. I know people who have holiday decorations for like every holiday, like for inside, for outside, like it's not my thing, but I respect it. You know, it can be totally fun, you know, like YOLO, live your life. But I just thought it was like way too many, and it was futile, but it worked. Every time I went there, they were organized after that. So I was like, okay. Just came home from watching the Philly Pops perform. Ooh. Have your two worlds ever collided? YouTube, performing arts. I'm pretty sure I would stand speechless starting to say hi. Okay. Oh, that's cute. Anna, thank you so much. My YouTube life and my other performing life do collide occasionally, and it's a little weird, but not weird, because like life is out, you know, but people exist. Life is out there, and it was funny because one of not the last opera performance, but the one before that I was in, one of the harpists, you may be watching this, one of the harpists sent me such a sweet message and said, I saw you in the chorus and I love your YouTube channel. And I was so like excited to hear that. Like it was so fun to have two of our worlds kind of collide, and I love that. My roommate and I are diametrically opposed on cleaning / organization. They're an out of sight, out of mind person, as in shove it in a drawer and forget about it, and they get peeved about clutter. I don't want to put things away unless there's a place for them. Any tips? I think you could come to a middle ground with labels. I think labels are going to be your best friend, because you're going to see the contents of said container or place where you're going to put the item, and they're not going to have the stress of like seeing everything. I know that like some people love to like see everything. I am an out of sight, out of mind person. Like if it is like in a box that's not labeled and I don't know, I'm just gone. So I totally understand that. So I think labels are going to be your best friend. Labels are my best friend because I'm kind of both. Like I'm out of sight, out of mind, but I also don't want to see stuff out. So I have made myself much happier with pretty attractive labels. I don't know, get yourself a Cricut and go crazy. Do you read very often? What's your favorite genre to read? Oh, I think maybe I answered this question before. I don't actually read that much anymore. I watch a lot more YouTube videos. I consume my media more on video. But my favorite kind of books to read are like just informative books or kind of dark narratives. I like very serious narratives. I don't know why. I'm not really a serious kind of person. I do love manga though, but the mangas I read are kind of serious manga. What's something you want your hubby to declutter but he's hanging on to? You don't really. The man has like 4 MacBook Pros, like 4 iPads. Why? I know I said he works in tech, but it doesn't require him to have so many machines. Maybe that's not fair. All right, maybe that's not fair. Maybe, but I mean, well, I do think he has a lot of books, but I think books are just fine clutter. I don't have a problem with books. I think books are amazing. He is actually pretty good at getting rid of stuff that is clutter. He's like had a lot of come to Jesus moments about the clutter. He's gotten rid of a lot of pens recently. He's like a paper writing kind of collector. He loves to write, and he happens to collect, he collects like post-it notes and all that stuff. And he's recently gotten rid of a lot of it, like with no prodding from me. So he's doing good. I'm just gonna leave it at that. What's the one area you have the most problem keeping organized? Me, personally, it's the fridge. The fridge is so dynamic. I mean, there's like 4 hands in the fridge. So like one day I'll organize it, and then like 4 days later, it looks like a tornado hit it, and I hate it. So I have to do it like twice a week, and it's really tiresome. So I think the best thing we can do to keep it under control is to do that big prep at the beginning of the week. And whenever I fail that is whenever the fridge gets a disaster. So I solved my own problem. What organizing solution makes you roll your eyes when you see it used? Oh, that's an interesting question. I mean, maybe those like shoe organizers with like without the not flat ones, the one where you have to like put your heel on there. Yeah, I'm gonna flash a picture of what, because I'm just like, who wants to go through all that effort? I know people love those, but for me, I like to throw stuff on. I'm very like, and whenever I see that, I'm like, oh my gosh, first of all, if you don't have a heel, if you have a flat shoe, you're screwed. And second of all, who's got that many heels anymore? What hair products do you use in your curls? Would you be willing to do a hair tutorial for curly haired girls? Thank you. Well, first, okay, I don't think I'm gonna do a hair tutorial like ever. I think I did one on my vlog last year. I sped it up. I'm not a hair channel. I won't do it. But I do use Kinky Curly Not Today conditioner to detangle my hair. It's got the best slip. I hate that it's so expensive and you only get like 8 ounces, but it's really been the best product. So it's got the best slip. So I detangle with my fingers, and then I go in with either Comet Biologics, one of 2 moisturizing products. I go in with that, and then I put that on, and then I put the Kinky Curly Curling Custard on, and then I go in with that. What's the most out-of-pocket question story from a client? Out of pocket. I had like an older client who really wanted me to be a cleaning lady. And I was like, I don't do that. I will like clean up when I get to clients' houses, especially at the end if I feel like, because I don't want to, that's the thing. When I leave, I don't want to leave a mess. I'll take items that need to be donated, and that's part of the service. And I won't leave a mess. Like if there's like stuff that needs to be shredded or whatever, I'm not leaving until it's done. I set an alarm. If it looks like it's going to take 15 minutes to clean up, then the 15 minutes before I go, we got to clean up. How did you and your husband meet? What do you two enjoy doing together? We met on eharmony.com in 2003. So we met on eharmony.com in 2003. My mother told me to like try that website because I wasn't meeting any boys at my job or anything like that. And we dated for like 3 months, and then it sort of fizzled, and I had a long time passed, and then we were both on, what was it? OkCupid. We were both on OkCupid, and I was scrolling through my matches one day, and I was like, oh, I dated that guy. I was like, I know that guy. And I sent him a message, and I said, the message was like, oh, you'll love this. The message was very cheeky. It just said, "You're still cute." And he was like, oh, it's Kay. And he was like, I never forgot about you. Every time I drove past your street, I thought about you. How are you doing? And we talked on the phone, and then it was history from there. What do we like doing together? We like watching trashy YouTube together, and we like hanging out with Clover together, and playing games together, and cooking together, and just being really goofy together. Do you do a lot of virtual consulting for organization with clients? Jacqueline, I used to, and I can't find the proper balance with it. When I was doing it, I was putting about 200% of myself into the client consult and the plans, and I found myself without a lot of bandwidth to do much of anything else. So I don't do a lot of it anymore. I may open that up back into the future if I can sort of manage my system a lot better. But until then, I'm gonna hold off on it. But I did enjoy it. What is your favorite place to get rid of unwanted items? Sell, donate, or just give away? This is what stumps me. Happy to donate lower valued items, but the more expensive ones are harder to give away. Selling is a pain. Selling is a pain, devos. My favorite place, like hands down, is Facebook. Like everything free. Any of those like everything free sites, best thing ever. Like I just post a little picture and like someone's like, I want it. Some people fight over it. It's crazy. If you're really struggling, like college hunks, hauling junk is great, but you'll pay. And selling things is a pain in the butt. I mean, again, Facebook Marketplace is really good for that, or eBay. But selling things is a pain. Like I can relate. What's your favorite hot sauce? Funny you'd asked. My favorite hot sauce is a local hot sauce called Barry's. It's so good. My favorite from Barry's is the Reaper hot sauce. That's like the hot sauce. It's so good. It's so good. Barry, I'm gonna give you a shout out. I'm gonna put a link in the description. If y'all want some, he ships to like everywhere, I think. But it's a local dude. Like we know Barry. Like when Eve sees Barry like on the street, he's like, hey. So the hot sauce is so good. Following the end of the YouTube beauty community drama era, where do you get your drama from now? I heard Housewives series is entertaining. Kiki. All right, hopefully that's a little better. Where do I get my drama fix now? The YouTube beauty drama is over. I was getting tired of it, by the way, but should I say anything? Housewives is decent. I just can't commit to watching it. I feel like a lot of people are in too deep with it, and I'm not. I've been out of it so long that I can't get back in. My current drama entertainment is Girl World drama, and if you know, you know. But to me, that's my like prime entertainment. I'm just sitting back and watching the show. It's a whole mess, but it's entertaining. Don't judge. If you know, you know. Thoughts about the Sims project Rene, excited or not? Amanda, am I excited? I guess I'm excited, but it could be a few years away. And if you don't know, if you're here for the organizing, The Sims is a good simulation game that's been out since like forever. And right now it's Sims 4, but they're doing like a Sims 5, but they're calling it Sims Project Rene. Looks pretty cool, but I'm the type of gamer that doesn't want to get too hype unless there's like cover art and a release date. I'm kind of like that. If you all ever watch Arlo on YouTube, he's a gaming YouTube, I guess, review channel. Me and Arlo are like one and the same. Like if there's too many spoilers, I don't want to see it. Like if there's trailer, okay, good, I can watch 2 trailers, but once it starts like spoiling stuff, I'm like, I don't want to see anymore. I want to play the game and discover all the cool things for myself. So that's how I feel about Project Rene. I'm like, cool, I saw the trailer, that's enough. Not super spicy, but there were enchilada sauce and buffalo sauce casualties today. How do I organize a corner shelf so I don't lose? Oh no! Turntables. Turntables. Turntables will be your best friend, because you gotta spin them around to see what's going on there. And like turntables have helped me in so many spaces. You'll lose a corner, like you're not gonna be able to fully use all of the space. And I think that's what stops a lot of people from using turntables, is they're like, oh my god, I could put so many more things in if I didn't have this turntable. And I'm like, yes, you could, but is that really worth it? So turntable, 100%. Oh, everyone else is saying turntables too. What are your thoughts on spicy hot cocoa? Sound good to me. I know you try not to judge what any of your professional organizing clients decide to keep, but what kinds of things have you seen them keep that make no sense to you? I think we talked about the tea towels. I mean, a lot of people keep a lot of things that don't make sense to me. I think there's a lot of toys get kept that there's just too many. Oh, I think the main thing that I just really want to encourage people to start to decluttering if they really want to keep them, and it doesn't make any sense to me, is kids' schoolwork. They don't want it. And like if their kids are like 25, they've moved out, they've moved on with their life, they're not gonna come home and be like, oh my gosh, you have all of my schoolwork from like kindergarten to 12th grade, I'm gonna take it home and do what? They don't want it. just recycle it. I've moved and the nearest container store is 2 hours away. No! Suggestions for wrangling Tupperware. The main thing with food storage containers is you might have more than you need. I know that it's so tempting to have like 5 of every size, but do you really need 5 of every size? Because I find that people have trouble wrangling them when they can't manage the amount that exists. And again, keep the lids with the containers. You don't have to put them like on, seal them on, but I would definitely keep them with the containers. So you can just grab a container with the lid sort of near it, and you don't have to search for lid. I don't like when lids are kept separate from the containers, because then you're like trying to, okay, you grab one lid and you're like, which one matches this? It's a whole, I don't know. I just don't do it. Tell me what a perfect date night would look like with Eve. And would his answer match? And would your answer match his? I think our answers would match. And I think our perfect date night would be get dressed up, go to fancy restaurant, eat amazingly fancy food, and then like go home and do what married people do at home. I don't know. I think we like to eat fancy food when we can. I remember on our wedding night, we were at the Mandarin Oriental in Boston. It was a surprise. And we were at Bar Boulogne. I think Bar Boulogne is closed now. Anyway, we were at Bar Boulogne and we were having the most amazing food. They served us this truffle risotto that was so delicious. I still think about it today. And when we were on our honeymoon in Paris, our most memorable times were just going out to explore and eating at nice restaurants. So we had a really nice experience at Le Cocorico in Montmartre when we were staying in Montmartre. We enjoyed just kind of walking around and people watching. Is that an interesting date? I think it is. I don't know. What are your thoughts on the Jaws cleaning products? I have no idea what you're talking about. I have to Google it. Jaws cleaning products. Oh, they're called Jaws? Jaws cleaning products? What are these? Jaws cleans. Just add water system. Oh. Never heard of it. I'll have to look into it. I literally thought it was like Jaws, like the shark. And I was like, how does that work with copyright? And why would that be a thing? Did y'all ever play Jaws, the video game on NES? It was so bad. That was like one of the, I played that game for so long and never like got anywhere. Why? Is this you and Eve's forever home? If you were to relocate, where would be your dream location? Is this for our forever home? Realistically, probably not. It's our like for a while home. I don't like to move, right? I would stay here for 10 years. And I think that's a good amount of time to stay in a home. I don't know if this is our forever home. I think if the opportunity arose to own the entire building, we might jump on that, and then that might be our forever home situation. But I do love this house so much. Oh my God, the sun. Spicy movie and TV show you and your husband like. Spicy movie we like. I don't know if it's spicy, but we loved Hereditary. That was, oh my God, it was so weird and scary, but we loved it. We were like obsessed with it. I think we watched it twice. Spicy TV show. We do like Hell's Kitchen. Is that spicy? We do like Hell's Kitchen. Hell's Kitchen is like fun. We like to watch that. Yeah. Okay, another hair question. I've never seen you wear your hair straight on the channel. Have you ever worn it straight, and did you like it? I have worn my hair straight. So when I was growing up in the 80s, my mom straightened my hair, and that's how I wore it every day. Like, it was pressed, curled, relaxed, and one day and I always found it kind of a stressful experience to go out in the rain and have to worry about the hair, and being, going to the pool and have to worry about my hair. And so when I was 15, I think I noticed that when I went to the pool and I didn't like have a cap on, I noticed that the texture was really curly when it was wet, and I was like, huh. And when I went to college, still had straight hair. I still pressed and relaxed my hair. And then when I went to grad school, I was like, screw this, I'm done. And I started to wear my hair natural, and I haven't gone back since. So I have not straightened my hair in over 20 years, and it's on purpose. There's a whole thing about, this is not to dunk on people that that straighten their hair or press their hair, relax their hair or anything, but like I felt very stifled by the process of relaxing, straightening, pressing, curling my hair, you know, using all those hot tools. And I found it very freeing to enjoy my natural texture. Now it's been a fight. Like I've been trying to manage what it looks like how it is, like how dry it is, and learning to live with how it shrinks when, you know, I feel like the longer it gets, cause it's long, right? But I feel like the longer it gets, the more it shrinks up, and having to deal with that and like the weird shape of it. But I've enjoyed having my hair look the way that it's meant to look. And I don't think that I would ever go back to straightening it, even just for fun. My mother keeps saying, oh, you straighten it just to see what it looks like. I'm like, nah, I did that. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, don't want to do it again. I'm enjoying the natural texture of my hair, and I'm gonna leave it alone. Favorite spice? I know. Cumin is my favorite spice. Cumin is the most used spice in my spice collection. I have 3 bottles of extra cumin because I have that panic where I'm like, ooh, are we out of cumin? And then we're not out of cumin. But even I have 3 extra bottles, I'm not stressed because I know they got used up because I love cumin. Oh my God, the sun. What's the easiest plant to grow indoors and with not too much natural light? I kill everything. Any kind of heartleaf philodendron, you will keep, it's really hard to kill it, and it doesn't really, it will like light, but it will not die. A lot of people will say snake plant, but I think snake plants, you can definitely kill it. I've killed a snake plant before. I say any of those heartleaf philodendrons, any of the philodendron Brazil, philodendron lemon lime, philodendron just a plain green, so easy, super hard to kill. You brought up that you're not a minimalist. Why is that? I'm not gonna say in public I'm a minimalist, because that implies that I also have a minimalist aesthetic, and I don't. I have a very like kind of cozy hygge aesthetic. As soon as the word minimalist comes out of your mouth, people love to like just disqualify you as any kind of minimalist. I've seen house tours with like nothing in there. Like the home, it's like bare, and someone in the comments is like, you're not a minimalist, you have 6 shirts instead of 3. Screw that. Least appealing home organization or decorating trend, and why? All right, I'm turning the camera so much. Least appealing decorating trend or home organization trend. Decorating trend. No, okay. Don't get offended if this is your home, but it's just not for me, right? Farmhouse, not for me. I'm not nuts about celebrities flexing on people with their super large closets full of like Birkins and Jimmy Choos and all that stuff, and it just seems like they can't manage it all, but it's just for display. But that's just me. It has nothing to do with me. I don't love that. Does pineapple belong on top of pizza? It does. I will die on that hill. All right, last questions, because some of these were duplicate questions. I can't believe I'm filming for like an hour. Where's all them babies? Clover needs a sibling. I don't think that I'm gonna have a human baby at this point. I am 45. That is quite old to be pregnant. Not impossible, but I don't think that I'm gonna put myself through that. No, I'm childless by choice, and I'm happy with that. Clover, however, he might need a sibling, like a furry sibling. We'll see. Every now and again I get the puppy fever, but then every now and again I'm like, I gotta go through puppyhood again. I don't know. I could adopt an older dog. I could do that, but there's something about a puppy that's real cute. I do get the puppy fever every now and again. And I do think he would be very happy to have someone else to play with, but I do think he's happy being an only child too. We'll see. I don't know. You at least need to fake concern and take a pregnancy test now, and then like all of the women on YouTube. Oh my God, Lethea, I am dead. Dead. All right, I've answered a bunch of questions. I've moved the camera a bunch of times. Thank you so much for contributing. I don't know how I'm gonna get this video down to less than an hour. We'll see how long it is when I finish editing. Why did I do this to myself? Oh no. My coffee's cold, I'm gonna heat this up. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.